Join me as we continue our read and commentary in the book of Ruth. Today's read, Ruth chapter 4, verses 1 through 6. Welcome to Daily Timothy Time. My name is Karl Coates, and it's a privilege, pleasure, and an absolute joy to be with you once again with an open King James Bible. Today being Friday, the 2nd of January, 2025. Saints, I'm just going to get straight to the reading. Enjoy it. Suffer me to the end. Enjoy the commentary that I submit to you. And once again, like I said to you just about every day last year, whatever you hear in the way of commentary, please, folks, do your due diligence. Go look at the verses and you be persuaded in your own mind. Remember, the responsibility is not only from, we're not exactly in a church setting now. I'm not behind a pulpit and you're not sitting in a pew. But if I draw the parallel from that, whatever you hear from behind the pulpit, in inverted commas, me speaking to you, sitting in the inverted commas pews back at home or wherever you're listening to me, not only do I have a responsibility of preaching Jesus Christ according to the revelation of the mystery, and understanding that and preaching sound doctrine to you, and if I'm in the Old Testament in time past, preaching truth to you and not deceiving you, there's also a responsibility for the individual in the pew. You got to be careful who you allow in your head, and whatever you hear, you got to take it back to your own study. The apostle of the Gentiles says over in 2 Timothy, the apostle Paul, study to shew thyself approved to who? Unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. Then he gives the formula, rightly dividing the word of truth. Anyway, I say all of that because it needs to be said. Anyway, let's get to the reading. Ruth chapter 4, verse 1. Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, Ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, Sit ye down here. And they sat down. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, Buy it before the inhabitants, and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know. For there is none to redeem it beside thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it. Then said Boaz, What day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. Folks, that's a really interesting passage here. There's quite a lot going on here. I'm simply going to, I cannot cover every point that I want to. I'm going to mention a few things here regarding what we have been covering already in the book of Ruth about the law of redemption and the requirements of it. In this passage, we see, we'll talk about it. We see he cannot redeem it lest it mar my inheritance. I want to quickly speak to you about that, submit that to you, and a few other things that were of interest to me as I went through this passage, studying it out to prepare for this. So, let me get into commentary here. In verse 1, then went Boaz up to the gate. Folks, what does that mean? Well, the gate how can I say it? It's the city council. It's a public display. This is not behind closed doors. Excuse me. This is a public thing. Okay. And then verse 2, he took 10 men. Now just think about this. There's 10 elders of the city and there's 2 men. 10 men, 2 men. The 2 men being Boaz and the nearer kinsman. To me, off the top of my head, what does that make me think about? Makes me think of the 10 Commandments. number one. Also, it makes me think of the 10 northern tribes and the 2 southern tribes. So you've got Israel, the 10 northern tribes, they get carried away into captivity, the Assyrian captivity, and the 2 southern tribes, Israel. That would be Judah and Benjamin. Just came to mind as I was reading through here. Now, what you want to do in verse 3, it says here, Naomi, that is, come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land. And if you drop down to verse 5, not only did the land have to get redeemed, but also Ruth the Moabitess, which presented a problem. Okay, so the nearer kinsman. Now, where do we get that phrase nearer kinsman from? Well, if you go back up to chapter 3, verses 12, it says, howbeit there is a kinsman nearer than I. That's obviously Boaz speaking. So what's the deal here? Now, if you remember back to the times we've met in the book of Ruth, I've often spoken about the law of redemption and the requirements of it. The first requirement, the individual redeeming has to be next of kin. Now, there's 2 senses here. Well, number one, you could think of Boaz in the immediate context, and also the Lord Jesus Christ as a redeemer, which came further on down the road. In the context, I'm going to be talking about Boaz here. Okay, so he had to be next of kin. There was a problem. There was a nearer kin. Okay, the nearer kin had to be able. Okay, we read in a passage, he said, he cannot, because lest I mar my own inheritance. So he was compromised. Okay, was he willing? Yes, he was willing. That's the third requirement. But he was compromised, lest he mar his own inheritance. What does that mean? Well, some of the commentaries will tell you that perhaps maybe he was already married. That's the nearer kinsman. Could be. I wouldn't say no, but I wouldn't say yes. I would just kind of say, okay, I'd agree with it. Okay. But if you go to Deuteronomy chapter 23 and read verse 3, that's an interesting read, connecting why it'll mar his inheritance. Now, I'm not going to read it for you. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 3 in your study time and have a look at that. Join the dots. It's really wonderful. And so there was the problem. He couldn't do it. So what does he do? He says, redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. So Boaz became the kinsman redeemer in the passage. Now, folks, I said to you earlier on that there's quite a lot going on here. I'm just giving a, picture an onion and the layers of the onion. I've just peeled back one layer here. You can peel the layers back a little bit, in fact, quite a lot more in this passage. But I look at the time's simply up. I'll leave it there for today. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to ask them. You can drop them in the comment box down below if you're on Rumble or if you're on YouTube or TikTok. Or you can go to our website, dailytimothytime.com. There are our contact details. You drop us an email if you're a bit confused about something I've mentioned. I did have a dear saint the other day say, Karl, you speak too fast. Yeah, perhaps I do, but I'm fighting against the clock, so I need to kind of wind it up and get it going. So if I've spoken too fast, you want me to just email and type something out, get a hold of us on our website. Wherever you are around the world, thank you for listening. If you have the heart to, please share this on your socials. If you're listening to me on YouTube or Rumble and you have not yet subscribed, please do this ministry a favor and subscribe to the respective channels. It really helps us out. Thank you. And lastly, as I say each and every day, remember to keep your sword sharp, soldier. How do you do that? Keep your nose in the book, specifically the letters that are written to you, Romans through Philemon. Read a couple of chapters a day. I know it's hard. Trust me, I know. I struggle just like you do. But that's important. Is keep our sword sharp, soldiers, so we can stay in the fight. Till we meet again next time, if the Lord tarries, grace and peace to you. Maranatha.